All right. Amen. Greetings, leaders. This is your success coach, Winston Cooper, shaping and molding you, developing you to become a great leader. And if you're already a leader, hopefully that this teaching will inspire you, so that you will gain some knowledge, but also be motivated to do what your vision is compelling you to do. You always want to be vision led. All great leaders are vision led. Amen. We're vision led. And so this is a great opportunity to continue to develop ourselves and move into a greater capacity when it comes to understanding leadership. Okay, so I'm gonna wait till some others get on. Let me share my links. Okay. All right. I'm sharing my links now. So those who are looking at the recap, I guess I'll talk to you. You coming on? Be sure to get this book, Success Secrets of Great Leaders. Those who are looking at the recap, Success Secrets of Great Leaders. You want to get this book. This is the book that we're taking our journey in. The Lord put on my spirit to share this to inspire and empower leaders to fulfill their vision. And if you give a gift, donate a gift, monetary gift of 44, we will send the ebook to you and some other stuff. But when you do donate that monetary gift, be sure to give us your email by the Cash App, and there's an email down there at the bottom. Once you give us your email, we can send you the free ebook so you can stay with us on this course. This is going to be some important teaching that I'm going to share with you, that when you begin to take on this teaching, you begin to apply these principles to your organization and to your career, you're going to see your leadership shift. It's going to add value to you. Okay, so things are going to shift once you begin to add this to your leadership. Hold on one second. All right, there. Do the shaking. All right, there we go. Okay, so definitely donate your monetary gift so you can get your free ebook. So we're going to go through this whole book. Amen. We're going through this whole book, and we're just on chapter 1 as we take on this process of learning the power of leadership. Now, I'm going to wait for one more minute, and I'm going to bust into the session because there's another teaching session that I'm going to share on another live. So I'm going to go quickly because time is of the essence. So I do want you to share. Those who are getting on, please share this. Share this to others. Amen. Share this to others. There might be some that want to grow as a leader, some that want to shift as a leader. And if you can share this, you might just be a blessing to them. They might be inspired to be a leader and lead a group of people or tribe in their generation. Okay, so I hope that everyone has a meaningful cause. Last time we talked, we had discussed the importance of having a meaningful cause, standing for something and being willing to be a voice. Because the moment you are willing to be a voice, then the people that are connected to you, or the people that are called to hear your vision, will come. You will summon them by your voice. If you are mute, if you're silent, if you're isolated, if you're quiet, you cannot be a leader. And I'm going to share some important things with you in chapter 1. So definitely, if you have this book already, go through and get this book, because we're going to go through some powerful teaching. And there's some things I want to share with you. I know that it will definitely bless you. Now, a truth that I want to share with you before I go deeper is that leadership does not operate in the space of someday I will. Leadership does not operate in that space of someday I will. Someday I will do this. Someday I will be a leader. Someday I will start my organization. Someday I will start my business. Someday I will start the church. They got a space on me. Someday I would innovate the ministry. No, leaders do not operate in the space of someday. And also leadership is all about mastering certainty, or mastering the uncertainty and mastering doubt. If you're a leader, you're going to have to know how to master uncertainty and also master doubt, because you're releasing a vision that deals with an uncharted course, somewhere that you have never been, somewhere that you have never seen before. You're casting a vision and you're stepping into a place of uncertainty. Inside of the uncertainty, you will discover possibilities. So as a leader, you have to be a master of uncertainty and doubt. There will be some times you will doubt yourself, but you got to continue to move forward, and you got to continue to innovate and initiate. Never stay in the space of someday I will. And this is very important. So what I want to share with you today, and I want to encourage you, if you want us to come, definitely get this information. Screenshot this information, because we will come to your church and we will share some valuable truths concerning leadership, some important truths concerning leadership, and it will bless you. Our website is there and our email is there. Okay. And so that's very important. I want you to really join us and connect with us. Invite us to your organization. You're going to be empowered. Okay, there's going to be some empowering things that's going to take place. Now, what I do want to share with you is this first thing that I'm going to connect, and this is in chapter 1. And this is the question. This question is loaded. And the question is, in a world full of independence, mistrust, and betrayal, why should a person trust a leader to guide them into a reality that they can't see by a declaration of a vision that has not yet been seen? Why do you need a leader, and why do you need to become a leader? In this day of independence, in this day where trust has been broken and betrayal has been manifested. You know, you hear people that said they put their trust in a leader, and that leader created a scandal, or the leader committed a scandal, or did something that broke the trust bond. And that person said they're experiencing hurt. In other words, what they're saying is, I trusted this person, and that person did not fulfill the promises concerning that trust bond. And so when trust is broken, when there's betrayal, people stop trusting leaders. So why should we trust leaders? Why should we commit to leadership? What is the importance of having a leader that's guiding you? What is the importance of you becoming a leader to guide others? And that question, I want that question to sink in. I want that question to be soaked in your spirit. I want you to really think about that question, because this question determines if you're going to become a leader. It determines if you're going to follow a leader so that you can become a great leader, or if you're going to remain the same. Now, there's a distinction that we need to make concerning great leaders versus leaders who are just taking the position of a leader. Not everybody who is in the position of a leader is a great leader. Blessings on you, Take 9. Bless you, Elder Mike. Not everybody is a great leader. Now, there's people, they follow people because that person has certain characteristics and attributes, but that does not mean that person is a great leader. And we need to make a distinction between leadership and those who are just in the position of leadership. For example, an influencer. You might see an influencer might inspire you, an influencer might empower you to fulfill the path that's set for you individually. And that influencer, you might think they're a leader, but they are not a leader. They're just simply empowering you, or transferring things that you need that will benefit your independent path, your individual path. Leadership is all about gathering a group of people, developing them into becoming great so they can stand for a community cause. Leadership is all about a community cause. It's not about individual paths being empowered. It's about empowering individuals to gather together for a community cause. And so that's why there's so much mistrust when it comes to leadership, because a lot of people do not understand the concept of leadership. And I want to share some things with you that will inspire you. Here are 4 things that doesn't make you a leader. I'm going to share 4 things that doesn't make you a leader, because you'll see this and you'll think that these people that operate with these type of behaviors or mindset are leaders, but they're not leaders. They're not great leaders. Possessing a strong personality does not make you a great leader. As a great leader, you might need a strong personality. As a great leader, you might need a certain level of influence, but that alone does not make you a great leader. Also, managerial bullying. And this is what we see all the time. In most organizations, this is nothing but managerial bullying. People that are operating from a space of authority that's seeking to bully those who are not in authority. So I share this in my book. Many who seem to be leaders haven't been developed in the leadership process, but have used their strong personality to lead others when it's simply what I call managerial bullying. And what I'm going to share with you today is the distinction between a leader versus a manager. And so people who are managers, they oftentimes bully others, but that does not make you a leader. So if you are a managerial bully, if you operate from a space of authority and you want everybody to submit to you because you're in a space of authority, you'll never become a great leader. And so there's three kinds of leadership. There is what we call utility leadership, coercive leadership, and also legitimate leadership. And you're going to operate in one of those. You're either going to operate in coercive leadership, you're going to operate in utility leadership, or you might operate in legitimate leadership. What is the difference? Utility leadership is what influencers do. Utility leadership says, I'm going to give you something based upon what you give me back. So it's more like an Indian trade. There's an Indian trade going on. I give you something, you give it to me back. I'm going to show up and do this, and then I'm expecting you to come up and show up and give what you have promised to give me. So that's utility leadership. There's an exchange taking place. And then there's what we call coercive leadership. People who operate in leadership from a space of power and authority. They have no influence. They have no persuasion. They're just in a position of authority, and they coerce people to follow them based upon their authority. In other words, they might say something like, if you don't do this, I'm going to let you go. Or if you're in church, there might be some charismatic witchcraft. If you don't do this, you're going to be cursed. If you leave my church, something bad is going to happen to you. If you leave this organization, you're not going to make it. That's coercive leadership. It is a coercive type of leadership that forces people to do tasks based upon their fear of authority. And so that coercive leadership would never make you a great leader. I'm going to share some things with you about that coercive leadership because Stephen Covey said something very powerful. Stephen Covey, when he discusses about coercive leadership, he says leaders stand to lean on coercive power when they're afraid they won't get compliance. Look at that particular quote by Covey. Most leaders who do not know how to influence or who do not take time to mentor and persuade their followers will seek to operate from a space of coercive leadership. And coercive leadership will never make you great. It will never make you great. You have to learn how to operate from what we call legitimate leadership. People follow you because they want to follow you. People are listening to your command for a CTA, which is a call to action, because you have a relationship with them. They see that you are connected to a cause that they value, and both the leader and the followers value a cause, and they're working together. There's a dancing taking place between the leader and the follower. And so every person has respect for their position and rank, and they're just doing something because they both value a cause. That's legitimate leadership. When people follow you because they legitimately want to follow you, you're on your way to becoming a great leader. And that's very important. Another thing that doesn't make you a great leader is a fashion model. Now, leaders might have some type of swag. Leaders are called to have some type of swag. Your appearance does say a lot about you. But you don't want to follow a person because they dress well. You do not want to follow a person because you admire their swag. Just because a person dresses well or looks good does not make that person a leader. And oftentimes we see insecure people, they value people that dress well, and they just follow that person without that person developing them, without that person giving them a vision, without that person processing them to fulfill their destiny. They just admire that person's fashion. Well, guess what? A fashion model is not in the space for leadership. Another thing, because we're moving quick, is selling great wolf tickets. If you're a great wolf ticket seller, in other words, making promises that you don't keep, that would never make you a great leader. And so we have leaders who sell promises, because of course leadership is the dealer of hope. When you're a leader, you have to deal with hope because you're bringing hope into others. But if you're not fulfilling promises, if you're not manifesting what you're visualizing or translating the vision into reality, then you're selling wolf tickets to others. If you can't keep your promise, if you cannot keep your commitments, then you're basically selling wolf tickets. And most times and often when people believe these leaders that sell them this false hope, they break trust and they begin to lose hope in following somebody because they experience a leader that sold them wolf tickets. A leader said they're going to start a class. A leader said they're going to start a school. A leader said they're going to do this, and they never fulfill it. They never do it. And so when you are good at selling wolf tickets and you got people following you and you know that you are not committed to keeping your promises, then guess what? You are not a great leader. You're not on the path of becoming a great leader. What we're dealing with today is those who value developing themselves to become great leaders. Blessings on you, Elder Jason. Blessings on you, Tech 9. And so I want to encourage you as we go deeper to share this teaching, because this teaching is going to be very vital to how you're going to progress in your destiny as becoming a great leader, or how you're going to regress and remain a follower. And if you're listening to me today, then that is an evident sign that you truly desire, you truly have a hunger to be a great leader. Bless on you today now. Bless you, Elder BG. And so I want to encourage you to share this, because there's somebody that you're going to inspire and empower. We want to develop an army of theological leaders, an army of godly leaders that will be successful and thrive in life. Another word for godly means great. You cannot be a great leader unless you're first godly. And so these four has sabotaged a lot of people from following great leaders. When a person is selling wolf tickets, when a person is not keeping their promises or keeping their commitment, when a person has nice fashion, but they don't have any type of true value with themselves, that's what we call secondary greatness. When a leader is coercive, and instead of being a legitimate leader, they will cause their followers to back off from them. Nobody wants to follow a person that is forcing them to do a task. And that does not make you a great leader. You might be in the position, but if you are forcing people to do a task that they do not feel led to do, then you are manipulating and abusing leadership. Leadership is all about inspiring and wooing people to step into a reality that they did not know existed. Now, I want you to look back at this here, this coerciveness, because I'm going to go back to this. Because let me say something. I saw something that was very dangerous. And I had it in my notes because I wanted to deal with this. Yeah, the strong personality. I want to go back to that because I want you to see this, because I just saw this morning and I pasted it on the teaching today. I hope you can see that. The Hamas leader. We know that Israel is in a conflict with Hamas. And there was a Hamas leader today. He just called for the world's Muslims to shed blood and become martyrs for the cause. So that Hamas leader, he is seeking to influence other Muslims to stand for the cause, to brutalize and terrorize the nation of Israel. And so that is not true leadership. I wanted to put that there because I saw that article this morning. That's not true leadership. And we see that happen often. A lot of people move towards that, where they feel like because they have a strong personality, they have a strong charisma, they're influencing people to do the wrong thing. That is the example I wanted to share. Now, in my book of chapter 1, I state something like this. A great leader is defined as an individual who has charismatic influence over a person or group, and by which they can persuade them to accomplish a vision or a task, watch this, according to their ability and competence that is beneficial to the whole community. That's what makes a great leader. A great leader takes people and he or she discerns their skill, their competence, and they put them in the right assignment, put them in the right place to benefit the community. Not just an individual, but the community. Remember, I told you leadership is all about community investment. An influencer influences you to be great as an individual, but a leader is going to challenge you to join a bigger cause. A leader is going to take you from being individually great to joining a community so that you may be organizationally great. That's what leadership is all about. And so if you're going to be a great leader, you have to be a people's person. You have to invest in people. And I'm going to share a sneak preview. Managers manage things, people, leaders, they're investing in people. That is one of the hallmarks or distinction between a leader and a manager. Now, I also state this. Leaders don't talk or display what they are not walking out themselves. Now, you can be a great talker, but not doing. And this is one of the things I want to demythologize. Leadership is not knowledge orientation only. Leadership is result orientation. Leadership is all about producing results, not just having knowledge. There's many people, they have knowledge. They know what they need to do, but they don't do it because they're not leaders. What makes you distinct from a follower is that you are making a stand. You are doing. You are producing results. Later on, I'm going to deal with the concept of learning the philosophy of performance, because leadership is knowing the philosophy of performance as well as the philosophy of persuasion. And so it's about performance. It's about performance. It's not about moving in what we call the SpongeBob theory. You're taking knowledge and you're soaking it as a sponge, but you're not actualizing it. So the leader is not a talker. They're going to do it themselves, and then they're going to train others to do what they have experienced. It's from experience level. Now, that's why we told you leadership is not a position. It is about someone taking the initiative, someone taking the stand. There are many people that I know, they have the position of leadership, but they never make a stand for a cause. And there's a person that's outside of position of leadership, they make a stand and they become a voice. So who do you think is a true leader? The person that's in a position or the person that's taking action? It's always the person that's taking action that is the leader. It's not the position. Bless you, Elder Marcus. Bless you, Tech 9. It's very important. So I said this is the fundamental principle of leadership. Leaders must lead by example. For a living example speaks volumes to your followers. So if you're going to be a leader, the fundamental thing to being a great leader is doing it first. Those who are just getting on, we're coming through this book, Success Secrets of Great Leaders. We're in chapter 1. We're just in chapter 1, and we're just going through some concepts because the Lord places on my heart to write this book. And let me share this. The reason why I wrote this book a long time ago is because I was looking for mentors. I was in search for mentors. And when I started the ministry, I started my organization, I was in search for mentors, but I could not find a good mentor. Bless you, Brother Moore. Thank you for coming on. Bless you, Tech 9. Thank you for coming on. I could not find a good mentor. And every mentor that I trusted in when I first started ministry, they was no good. They kind of abused their leadership. Or when I asked for their help, they was too busy for me. I sold into their life. I gave into them. I gave money to them. I've invested into them, but they still did not have time for me. So I understood the importance of leadership because leadership was missing. I felt in my reality that leadership was missing. So I felt led to write this book. And I said that if I ever become a leader, I'm going to make sure that I develop people to the place where they're on their path to greatness, but they're all about affecting lives that come after them. Okay, so leaders lead by an example. Now, in Matthew 25, verse 2, my favorite book, Jesus says something very powerful when it comes to positional leadership. He tells his disciples concerning the Pharisees, he says, hear what they say, but don't do what they do. Matthew 25, verse 2 is a very powerful verse. Jesus says, I know that they are hypocrites. I know that these Pharisees, they are not doing what they're teaching you, but don't negate, don't disregard their sins. Hear what they say, but don't do what they do. If you can catch this as a leader, you might advance those who are in a position of leadership. Because they might have a wisdom if they're not acting, or well, I said knowledge, they might have a knowledge, but if they're not acting on it, if you take what they teach you and start acting on it, you're going to surpass them. So Jesus gives a very powerful principle when it comes to leadership. Hear what they say, but don't do what they do. But if you want to be a great leader, you got to do it first before you teach it. And I said this, Goddard, I quote Goddard. Goddard has rightfully stated that we can be to others only that which we are to ourselves. You can only be to others that which you are to yourself. If you have not discovered the leader within you, I guarantee you, you will have a hard time developing leaders around you. The leader must first know that they are a leader. They must be secure in their identity and in their essence. then when they are secure with that, they can lead others. But if you are not secure in yourself, if you have not experienced leadership yourself, you will not develop leaders. So I say, unless we are able to lead ourselves, we are not able to lead others. This is very vital, because on the path to becoming a great leader, you must first lead yourself. Before you lead others, seek to lead yourself. What we're seeing today, we're seeing a lot of people, they're leading others and they have not led themselves. And eventually they're going to break the trust bond. Powerful. Eventually they're going to break the trust bond. They're going to cause a betrayal to happen between the follower and the leader, and one of the people are going to get out of rhythm. Either the leader is going to get out of the rhythm, or the follower is going to get out of rhythm, because that leader has failed to lead himself or herself. Now, this is what I state. We're going deeper. I'm in chapter 1. Success Secrets of Great Leaders. Now, if you want this free ebook, donate a monetary receipt of 44. That is, if you're prophetic of any sense, that is a number that I want to share today. God is about to reorient your direction. He's about to bring you into success all around. So if you when you saw that 44, Cash App or Zelle, put your email in it. We're going to send you the free ebook so you can be on course with us. I'm going to go through more sessions through this. So you want to follow, if you want to follow me, you need to grab this copy. When you sow the 44 as a monetary gift, we're going to send you that. And remember, when you go through Cash App, you sow it, put your email so we can send you that free ebook and connect you to other things. Now, I said this, great leaders are guides to greater realities. They are guides to greater realities. What do I mean by that? If a person has not stepped into a greater reality being around you, that is a sign that you're not a leader. When a person follows you or when they connect to you, you are, as a leader, assigned to take them into a greater reality. In other words, you are called to expand their consciousness to do something they thought they could not do. Because, believe it or not, the leader sees potential in the person more than they see it themselves. So the leader draws that potential out of them and helps them translate potential into reality. And when that person brings you into a deeper reality, or changes you, or transforms you, or translates you into another reality, that person has become your leader. So if you're going to be a leader, you've got to invest, you've got to be a specialist in helping people step into a greater reality or possibility they did not know existed. That's what Jesus did. Jesus took 12 men, the greatest leader of all times. He took 12 men and brought them into a new reality. They was focused on themselves. They were stuck on themselves. And as a matter of fact, Jesus only discipled entrepreneurs. There was already entrepreneurs. Every disciple of Jesus was influential, and there was an entrepreneur in some sense. He fed the poor. He gave the poor fishes and bread, but he discipled entrepreneurs. He discipled leaders. And then he translated their entrepreneur endeavors into a different reality. He made them kingdompreneurs. Because leaders are always trying to shift you into a greater reality. Now, this is why I shared that important principle. You cannot lead others until you lead yourself. Because if you are not stepping into a greater reality yourself, then you are not going to be a great leader to others. Now, watch what I said. They have a special ability to navigate a group to seeing a greater change and purpose for humanity being accomplished in the world. Leaders know how to guide people in discovering potential within themselves. When you hear somebody just talking about themselves, when you hear an individual talking about their own greatness and they're not really trying to empower you to be great, that person is not a leader. They're just a talker. Because true leaders are going to give you principles. They're going to share things with you that's going to empower you. They're all about helping you actualize your potentiality. A person that is talking about what you can do for them instead of what they can do for you, they're not leaders. They might be a utility leader in some sense where they want an exchange to happen, but they're not true leaders. True leaders are helping others discover themselves. They're helping others discover the reality that God has placed within them. I also said this, that that leaders know how to guide people into discovering potential within themselves that will unlock activities exercised by them to inventing a reality which has not yet been revealed. Watch this. A leader will influence you to take action. I told you before, leadership is all about result orientation. A leader is going to push you to action. They're going to stretch you to take action because they know that the reality cannot be visible unless action is taking place. Those who are just getting on, we talked about a truth. Now, this is an important truth. A leader never operates in the space of someday I will. They'll never operate in the someday I will syndrome. Someday I will be a leader. Someday I will start my business. Someday I will get married. Someday I will create a family. Someday I will get promoted. They don't operate in the someday I will. Thank you. Yes. Thank you, Marcus. Thank you for writing that. Amen. It's very important. Now, Gilles Paju has stated this about leadership. Leadership is creating a world to which people want to belong. You cannot force somebody, bless you, Elder Everett, bless you, take 9. You cannot force somebody to be in a reality they don't want to belong. You have to discover what is the reality, what is the space they want to belong, and you got to help them get there. That's the key for leadership. If you're not helping them find a reality, an assignment, a destiny where they want to belong, you are not going to influence them and you will not become a legitimate leader. So the key for leadership is to see what does that person want with their life. What do they want to see accomplished? What do they want to see fulfilled for their lives? And there's a distinction between the preacher and the teacher. A leader is a teacher. God shared this with me a long time ago. Fathers teach, young men preach. You'll catch that tomorrow lunchtime. Because leaders know until they teach, they cannot stimulate your intellect. They cannot move you to take action in a certain assignment that you're called to fulfill. Now, I want to share something with you because what is the distinction between leadership versus management? Because what we see today, there are a lot of managers who appear to be leaders, but they're nothing but managers. Remember, I told you that leaders, they're about people. Managers are about tasks. And you can be great as a task orientational specialist, but that does not make you a leader. It does not make you a leader. You're great at managing things. You're about punctuality. You're about getting things right. You're about setting things right. But if you don't have a heart for people, you're nothing but a good manager. You're not a leader. Leadership is about people. It's about people. Let me say something. Thank you, Elder Jason Hart, for sowing that $44 seed. Yeah, you're preparing yourself for, because I know you have this free ebook already. Thank you for just sowing it. And I will have a conversation with you later on. Thank you for sowing that $44 seed by Cash App. Now, I'm going to share some things with you because I know that this is going to really bless you. And sometimes I'm going to share this with you because sometimes we got people who are operating as a pastor or leader of an organization, and they have no skill, they have no development in leadership. They're very great at management, but they have no skill as leaders, and they're wondering why they're frustrated. They're wondering why the people are not doing what they want them to do, and they're frustrated because of that. It's because they're in management and not leadership. And it's very important that you understand this because you can be a pastor and have not developed the skill of a leader. You can be an auxiliary person, be in a position of auxiliary leadership, and have not learned the skill of being a leader. Now, Warren Bennett, one of the greatest philosophers of leadership, said this: leaders are people who do the right thing, but managers are people who do things right. I want that concept to sink in within you. Leaders are about doing the right thing. Managers are focused on doing things right. Let that sit in. Because if you are a manager, you will never see a brighter future or greater vision for your organization, for your business, or for your church. because you'll stay stuck in that bubble of just doing things right. Leaders are not afraid to take risk. They're not afraid to step into the space of uncertainty. Remember, I told you, leadership is all about mastering uncertainty and doubt. Managers, they just want things right. So if you are just a manager and you just want to do things right, you will eventually become traditional, what we call religious. And you can be in a business and still be religious in a business, even though you're not in a church, because you're just stuck on doing things right instead of becoming innovative. Instead of expanding people into doing greater things, you're focused on doing things right. So there's no type of innovation within you. There's no type of stretch within you to ask yourself the question, what can I do better? Have you ever talked to people when you ask them, what can you do better with this auxiliary? What can you do better with this assignment? Oh, I believe I'm doing things all right. I believe I'm at a 10 already. I believe it's okay right now. Because why? They're managers. Leaders are always seeking how can they better something? How can they improve what they have started? They will always judge themselves at best at a 9, not at a 10. Because leaders know that anything they work on, any technology that they do with people can always be greater. I'm going to share this with you because leaders can get fired by you. You can fire a leader. You can fire a pastor. Yeah, you didn't know that. You can fire your pastor. You can fire your manager. But a true legitimate leader, a true legitimate manager, a true legitimate entrepreneur is not going to follow you after you fire them. If you fire them, that suggests that you want another leader to lead you, or you're going to innovate yourself. When a person fires me as a pastor, when they fire me as a coach, I'm not going to chase after them, because I understand that they have chosen to take on another leadership model. I'm not about management. I'm really focused on leadership. Now, is management important for leadership? It is. But management is distinct from leadership. I'll share something with you. John Maxwell, a great leader. John Maxwell says this: anyone can steer a ship, but it takes a leader to chart a course. Any manager can steer a ship, but the leader, they chart the course. They are trailblazers. Remember, I told you, they create realities that you did not know existed. So the leader is seeking to put you on a course that's far beyond your level of thinking. And as a matter of fact, if you have the same thinking level that your leader does, then you need to find a leader that can expand you. You need to find a leader that can stretch you. And I want to submit to you that if you are not knowledgeable, if you are not doing proper research, and if you're not willing to innovate, then what's going to happen is that the people that follow you might catch up with you or surpass you. There's a difference between leaders. There's a difference between a reader who skims versus a researcher. Leaders are not skimmers when they read. They don't skim books when they read. They are researchers. Time is invested in researching their knowledge. Why is this important? Because if you are an expert at skimming books, just going through books, skimming it, going through those books, you will never know how to chart the course. Because research gives you the ingenuity. It gives you the intuition to know how to create a course. And that's why I share with those who are connected to me, I share with them that I could just easily teach extemporaneously. I could just talk from the top of my dome like most speakers do. But what gives you value is when you know how to organize your research. When you know how to organize your knowledge, you eventually become a person of influence in that particular subject. I just shared that for free. So this is the organized knowledge that you see. Now, in my book, in chapter 1, those who are just getting on, I want to encourage you, definitely get this book. Success Seekers are great leaders. Success Seekers are great leaders. Get this book. Now, if you donate the seed of 4444, that's a prophetic number. That is a watchword number. That's how we're underwriting this teaching session today, 4444. When you sow that monetary gift, put your email in the Cash App. we're going to send you a free ebook so that you can follow with us. We're on chapter 1. So we want to send you the free ebook so you can follow with us, and we're going to send you other things. But we need to connect with you in some way. So put your email down there so we can connect with you. The number 4 is the number of direction. North, south, east, and west is a number of global wealth and global prosperity. Now, in my book, I said leaders are strongly focused on leading people in a way that the function or the process of producing results will be made easy for the common vision of the organization. And notice, leadership is about organization. It's about connecting people to do things where they're producing results, where the organization moves smoothly. Whether you have a mom and pop shop, where you have a small group of people, or you have a big business, if you are able to empower them to produce greater results so that the organization can be a tight ship and run smoothly, and they will know how to innovate, then you are becoming a great leader. That's why we encourage people to open themselves up. We do have the ability to help your team grow. We have the ability to show your team a certain knowledge that will shift them as an individual, but move them into organizational greatness. The focus of greatness is all about moving into organizational greatness. Now, I'm going to share this because if you say you're a leader and you're unwilling to start small, you're unwilling to lead at least 2 or 3 people or 1 person, then you're failing as a great leader. You got to find somebody to lead. Whether it's 1 person or 2 or 3, you got to find somebody to lead. Because as John Maxwell always says, if you say that you're a leader and you look back and nobody's following you, you're only taking a walk. You're taking a stroll. So there's many people who think they're leaders, who think they are entrepreneurs, who think they are pastors or shepherds, and there's nobody following them. They're only taking a walk. So you got to start small. You got to say, okay, let me invest. Let me start a little group. Let me meet at Starbucks. Let me meet at a bowling alley and just start a little group and lead them, influence them there, and grow. Because it's all about you trying to create an organization. It's not about what you know. It's about, can you innovate? Can you create an organization if you want to be a great leader? All right, so I think a great leader just doesn't make any and everybody fulfill a task, but has a keen eye to discern the competence of each person they lead and put them in the proper place to contribute to fulfilling the vision. This is vital. Now watch. When that person, thank you for showing, when that person sees where a person needs to be and put them in the right spot, put them in the right assignment, they will flourish. But if you become a manager and try to put somebody in a spot that they're not gifted to operate in, they're going to fail you all the time. They're not going to produce the desired results. So you have to be sensitive. You have to know what is the skills of this person. What are the gifts of this person? What are they competent in? What is their experience? What is their background? And put them in that right spot. And you're going to see some great results happen. So John Kittle says this: leadership is about coping with change, while management is about coping with complexity. So leaders know what to do when change comes. Managers get frustrated when change comes. Leaders know how to rally a people to take the pivot when the change comes or when the crisis comes, because the right crisis is going to come. You're gonna encounter a crisis you'll encounter a crisis out of every 2 or 3 months. Out of every 2 or 3 months, there's going to be some type of crisis that you're going to face. And leaders know how to deal with those crises. They know how to gather people and take the pivot. The manager will get frustrated because managers, they do not like change. That's it. They do not like change. I'm sharing the distinction between a leader and a manager. So the question is, are you a leader or are you a manager? Do you want to be a leader or do you want to be a manager? When you look at the word manager, you see the word man, M-A-N, the first 3 letters is man, and it's also the root word for manipulate. Managers have the tendency to manipulate. Managers move often from coercive power. Do the task or get fired. Do the task or be in trouble. Do the task or get reprimanded. Do the task or get cursed, because they're known to manipulate. Leaders lead. And so I'll close with this. George Weatherby says leadership focuses on the creation of a common vision, while management is the design of the work. Management focuses on the design. Leadership focuses on the creation of a common vision. Amen. So I got some church solutions. Thank you for sowing. Thank you for sowing. All those that are sowing on Cash App, thank you for sowing. We appreciate the seed. And I know some have Zelle. They emailed their Zelle already. Thank you for doing the Zelle too. We are elated that you are sowing. You're valuing this type of teaching. And the elders, I will get with you on something else. Now, I want to share this because we do not want your organization to be full of managers. We do not want your organization to be full of those who are just focused on becoming individually great. We want your organization to focus on the common cause for the community that can elevate the community. I'm going to rehash this and rephrase this. Like I said again, you can be a great influencer, have a lot of people following you on social media platforms, but that does not make you a leader. The leader takes people and make them active, make them engage in the community to fulfill a community cause, not to create something that's beneficial for the individual themselves. It goes higher than that. It's all about a higher cause. And so if you're going to be a great leader, you must choose to invest in people. You must choose to know how to master dealing with people. You must seek to know what are the temperaments of humanity. Leadership takes a form. It takes a certain level of psychology. Spend some time in psychology. Spend some time in counseling. Spend some time in vision casting. Spend some time in knowing how to work with difficult people. Invest time in those areas. When you invest time in those areas, you will thrive. When you invest time in those areas, people will thrive around you, and you will see a great community goal come to fruition. So I will stop right there. Are there any questions? Are there any questions before I get off here? Because we're about to step into another teaching session soon. I'm going to set it up. We're going to step into another teaching session, which is more theological. I just wanted to share that with some who are taking the journey with me today. We're still on chapter 1. I'm still on just on the first 3 pages of chapter 1. We have a lot to unravel through this book, Set Secrets of Great Leaders. Listen, there's a lot of things that we're going to share with those who have sowed their seed. We're going to send this to you. We want you to take the journey with us because we need to master transactional leadership before we step into transformational leadership. And the thing I wanted to drop into your spirit today is knowing this distinction, knowing the distinction between leadership and management. Okay, do not become a coercive leader. Do not become a utility leader, but master yourself, add value to yourself concerning leadership, where you will become a legitimate leader. People will follow you because they want to follow you. That's the highest form of leadership. When people follow you because they want to follow you, when people follow you because they see that you have the same common cause that they have within them, they will follow you, and both of you all will both feel a great thing concerning, amen, vision and destiny. God bless you. I'll come back on hopefully Tuesday or Wednesday. Just be looking out for the blast, because when I come out, when we come out with this part 3, it's going to be deeper. We're going deeper when it comes to the concept and the science of leadership. And I want to share this with you. Leadership is an art. It's an art. It's not something that comes by osmosis. It is an art. It is a skill. Leaders are made. Leaders are developed. They're not born. Okay. You can be born with the leadership instinct, but you need to develop that leadership instinct in you. You have to develop it. And so training is necessary. All right. So God bless you. I'll come back on soon next week. Let's continue to take the journey. And we thank God for all those who have sown the seed. That is a sign that you truly value what leadership is all about, because leadership is the skill for champions. God bless you.